Hey, it's Christine, Manifestation Queen, here to remind you of your manifesting power. Wanted to share a story of how I manifested a spiritual awakening. This was about 2 years ago, I think. Yeah. I was, I don't know, I was in a weird place in my life where I was just kind of going through the motions and not feeling very inspired. And I thought, I just want to experience a spiritual awakening. I don't even know what a awakening would look like or feel like. I just kind of put it out there that it would be cool to manifest that. And the reason why I wanted that was just to know that there's more to life than what the five senses show us. And I had some inclination of like how energy works, but I just wanted like some kind of confirmation that there's more out there. And I just left it at that. Few weeks later, I got very into, well, I've always kind of been into like mediumship where people can talk to spirits and people that have passed. And I thought that was always really cool. And I was somewhat skeptical of it, but I also was interested and I thought, yeah, I think some people really can do that. I feel like you really could connect with people that have passed. So I ended up coming across this guy on YouTube who teaches how to do mediumship, which I thought was fascinating. So I was like, wow, I didn't realize you can be taught that kind of thing. I thought it was just kind of some people could do it and majority of us can't. So I took his class. It was only like $100 or something. It was like a 4 week class. And I learned a lot about it, but I learned a lot about what mediumship is and kind of his perspective of like how it's done and how to practice it. So I was like, wow, I should probably find a medium and actually get like a session because I've never even done that before. So I reached out to him and he recommended this woman who he knew very well. So I reached out to her and got a session done, and she was phenomenal. It felt like during our session, she was talking right to my grandparents that had passed, and she knew so much about them that there's no way that she could like find that information on the internet or anything. Like she definitely was like talking to them, and almost felt like they were there like with us. It was a really cool experience. So I was like, okay, this makes me feel like I'm kind of digging this. I really believe like anyone can, and that was something we learned in the class is like anyone can do mediumship. Like we all have that ability. It's just that some people are naturally gifted at it and can really tune into spirit, they call it, the energy of people that have passed. And some people, they just need to practice it. And so I was like, oh, well, maybe I can do it. So one day I was talking with a friend that I've known her for quite some time, but I didn't really know her. I met her through a health coaching program. We were accountability buddies. Her name was Deb, and she lived up in New York, and I'm down in North Carolina. But we would video message each other throughout the week, through our accountability program. And we got to know each other over a few months. And I knew that her husband had passed just last year, but I didn't know anything about him other than his name was John. I didn't know how he passed. I also knew she had 4 kids and they were all teenage or older. So that's all I really knew about her husband. And I was like, ooh, that's a perfect opportunity. I was like, let me connect, see if I can connect with Debbie's husband. So I was sitting there one day doing my makeup and I was like, hey, John, can I connect with you? Like in my head, I'm imagining that I'm connecting with him. And I think it's just a bunch of nonsense. I think it's just me being silly. So I was like, hey, John, can you tell me something about yourself that only like you and Debbie would know? And I could tell Debbie and, just confirm that I'm really talking to you. So I got an image of a plaid shirt, like one of those warm ones that you would wear in the winter, like the button down ones. So I was like, okay, plaid, warm, button down shirt. Is there anything else you can give me that only you would know? I mean, you and Deb would know. And if I told her, she'd be like, oh my God, you were talking to him. And I got an image of a pickup truck. It was specifically a white one, but yeah, I got an image of a pickup truck. And then I asked him how he passed, and I got an image of black tar in the torso area. Like I felt it on my body. Like I felt like I got an image of black tar, and it felt like it was in this area, like from the stomach to like the sternum. So I was like, hmm. And I was like, maybe that's cancer because I almost see like tar as being like, you know, I don't know. Cancer to me seems like black cells, like, you know, tar, sticky related. So, and the other thing that I learned is that mediums, you know, when you're doing mediumship, it's very symbolic. Like when I was talking to him, like it almost felt like the essence of him. Like it was like he was like this, and I even told Deb about this too. Like he kind of felt like a mountain type person or an outdoorsy type person. Like I just kind of got that feel, like kind of like a bearded type of guy, kind of like big and um not fat, but like husky kind of guy. Like, you know, I just got that feeling from him. Sorry, it's my dog in the background sneezing. Anyway, so I reached out to Deb and I was like, I video messaged her and I said, Deb, I think I talked to your husband, but and she I felt very comfortable with her because we had talked about like angels and spiritual things. So I was like, and I was telling her about my mediumship class. So I was like, Deb, I think I talked to your husband. I might be crazy because this is the first time I've done it, but you know, you tell me if I'm completely off. But these are the things that he told me. I asked him if he could tell me something that only you and him would know. And I got an image of a plaid shirt, like the warm shirts that you wear in the winter, the button down ones. And then I said, I also got an image of a pickup truck. And then when I asked him how he died, I got an image of tar in his front torso area. So she messaged me back. She was smiling and giggling. And I was like, oh, I messed this up. Like, he's probably not any of those things. And she goes, if I showed you his closet, you would die. It is all plaid shirts. That's all he wore was the warm plaid shirts because he was a construction guy and he was always working outside and it was just his thing that he liked wearing those type of shirts. And then she said, he always, ever since she knew him, always drove a pickup truck. She said he had many of them, but he always drove a pickup truck. And then she said the the tar was interesting because he actually died of lung cancer. And at the last phases of his life, they found that the lung cancer had spread to other areas in his organs. So it's like, what? And then after she told me that, I freaked the hell out. I was blown away. I thought she was going to say, "Oh, that's so funny. He didn't, you know, he didn't have any of those things." I freaked out. I was so excited. I called my mom and sister. I told my husband, he thought I was crazy. He's like, "You're just guessing." Like totally blew it off. Like he's so logical. Like you, like yeah, you just picked out random things, and she was just confirming that. I was like, no, like that's really him. Like those are really like um close things to his like when he was alive. Anyway, so and I saw angel numbers everywhere that day. Like I went out to lunch and my bill was $8.88. And usually I don't see the eights too often. I think the eights have to do with like the angelic realm or something like that. But oh my God, angel numbers on the clock all day long. And if you're not familiar with angel numbers, it's when you see a repetition of numbers like 111, 222, 333, 444, 888, 999. And they all have different meanings. But I see angel numbers. I'm like, oh, I am aligned. I am in my zone. But wow, what a spiritual awakening. So then I started doing some mediumship for some other friends, but it just wasn't as good. Like I was kind of on par with like about 50% of the stuff, and the other stuff they were just like, "Ah, I don't know if that's right." So I think I was getting too much in my head. So I haven't really experimented with mediumship too much after that, but it just woke me up to realize, wow, like when I'm thinking about my grandmother who has passed, like that's her. Like she's really talking to me. Like it's not just I'm making this up in my head. And even in the book, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill used to talk about how he would have his mastermind of people that had passed. Like he would tune into their energy and they would give him ideas, for the solutions that he was trying to look for. So, wow, the possibilities are endless if you really truly believe and know that we are not just our 3D world. There is 4D, 5D, out to who knows, infinite D amounts of energy that we can access. And it feels, this when like you're in a zone and you just get this like download of like good ideas, or if you're working on something creative and it just like blows your mind that you even came up with that solution or that thing. Oh, you are definitely getting like information from some other source for sure. Anyway, so if you're interested in manifesting a spiritual awakening, I highly recommend it. It is pretty wild. It will blow your mind. And I feel like there's always levels. Like you can grow to awaken even more. Like you just grow in your awareness. Like I feel like I am not even anywhere near to where I could grow to in my spiritual awakening. And I feel like in general, humans, we're all at different levels, right? We're all on this journey together, exploring and enjoying life. And it's so fun to see it unfold. It's a good time. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. If you'd like one-on-one coaching, hit me up in the About section. Actually, if you're interested in mediumship, I do have a few good mediums I know. Actually, my sister is now a medium because after my experience, she realized that she could talk to spirit, and now she's doing it on a weekly basis for people, like just word of mouth. People come around and she's just like whipping out whatever comes through her and she's having a good time with it. Yeah, so I can help you out with that too. Yes. See you in the next video.